Hey, buddy, give me Nux. Good job. You do it again? Nux?
Yeah!
Nux? You give me Nux? Here you go. You can just have it. Hello. So I have finished my last reads of the year. So I reread The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. Hitchhiker's Guide follows a man named Arthur Dent whose house is about to be destroyed. It's about to be bulldozed, demolished, to make room for a new highway, and he should have known. It was clearly posted. The notice was clearly posted that this was going to occur. It was just posted, you know, at the bottom of a locked filing cabinet in an unused restroom behind a sign that said, "Beware of the tigers," or something like that. But anyway, it was clearly posted, so he should have known. Anyway, it doesn't matter because before his house can be destroyed, the Earth is destroyed to make room for an intergalactic highway. And Earthians should have known. It was clearly posted, just very far out of reach of where Earthians could have gotten it. So Arthur Dent is saved by his friend Ford, who happens to be an alien that was working on the Hitchhiker's Guide guidebook, and he was supposed to make a quick stop on Earth, but you know, things got a little bit tricky, and he ended up staying for about 15 years by accident. But no worries, because they were able to hitchhike on a spaceship before before the Earth was destroyed. Okay, so this book is chaos. These books, Restaurant at the End of the Universe, which is a restaurant not at the end of the universe, like at the edge. It's at the end of time when the universe is destroyed, and then we just kind of back up time a little bit and observe it once again. These books are absurdist. These books are outrageous. These books are chaos, and it's brilliant. The humor in these books are untouchable. The play on words and the play on expectations is around every corner, on every page, unexpected and so funny. So many hilarious things. I was thinking about quoting a few things in this reading vlog, and I realized there's a quote on every page that I would like to quote to you. It's a non-stop experience of delight for me. This is the perfect humor to me. This is the perfect reading experience to me. I mean, like, it can't be matched in my eyes. This is one of my all-time favorite series. My goal at the end of 2023 was to reread the first 3 Hitchhikers books, but you know, school break got hectic, so I didn't get as much reading done as I thought, and I only read 2, which is fine. It was still wonderful. The final book that I read this year, though, was actually Republic of Thieves, which I've been reading all month long. I haven't been talking about this reread of The Gentleman Bastards in my reading vlogs, just because you all know I love them. What more do you need to hear? So I've just been saving all my thoughts for the group discussions that we've been having on this channel. They're posted on Saturdays. The review for Republic of Thieves will probably be up in February, though, just to accommodate for everybody's schedule. It'll take a couple people a little bit to get it finished. But I finished reading Republic of Thieves about 30 minutes before the new year. So it was the final book that I finished in the new year. And then I was just talking about it on my Discord with everybody, and final thoughts and expectations and all that. And then midnight hit, and I immediately started my first read of the year, which is going to be The Cat Who Taught Zen. These books, the past 4 years maybe, I have begun, counting this year, I've begun the new year with one of these books. They're very art-focused books with just nice little thoughts, with a narrative structure. There's story in there, but it's very few words to a page, focused primarily on emotion and on art that kind of drives that emotion a little bit. But I really love the art, and I think that the books could come off as cheesy at times because it's a lot of little sayings and thoughts that I think are nice for reflection, but also will carry the exact amount of weight that you want to give them, I guess. I always find them to be really wholesome, sweet, nice ways to start out my year. It's not something that I would want to read all year long, but it's always been kind of the perfect starting point for a new year. I'm trying to find one in particular that I really like to give you an idea of what these books offer. Oh, here it is. Okay. If you know how much kindness could change your life, you would practice it at every opportunity. And of course, if your kindness does not include yourself or those you find difficult, it is incomplete. So it's just nice little phrases and thoughts for you to chew on or for you to move past, depending on what connects with you and what doesn't, with a narrative thread that kind of connects it all. So I think I got about a third of the way through last night. Hey, buddy. And I'm gonna finish it today. So it's the first, it's New Year, January 1st at the time that I'm recording this clip. So I'll have it done by the end of the day, and that will be how I have started my new year. So I'll check in with you when I finish it, maybe at the end of the day, maybe just tomorrow, and let you know what my final thoughts are on it. And I think, and whatever my next book of the year that I pick up will be. Welcome to the vlog. Good morning. It is not the next day. It is in fact 2 days later. I have, oh, sorry, buddy. I have finished The Cat Who Taught Zen. More of the same, more pretty artwork and, you know, phrases, thoughts, ideas. I like that spread, whatever that's called, 2 pages. And I like this little guy right there. He's a little cutie. These books rarely give me something to think about for a long time. It's just a cozy way to start my year. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if it's a combination of tradition and being outside of what I typically read, but I just really enjoy starting my year with these. But at the same time, I don't think that they're phenomenal. Like, I do think that they try really hard to be deep and don't leave me with something to ponder on for a really long time. It's just nice little thoughts that feel nice to think about in the moment. Anyway, I started my year with one of these again, and I enjoyed it. So then I picked up The Last Unicorn, which is a book that I never planned on reading. I didn't read it as a kid. I didn't watch the movie as a kid. I have no attachment to this. Typically these stories that people have really strong attachments to that they've had since they were children, I just don't oftentimes connect with them as an adult. That's not always true. There are plenty, like Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland, that I read for the first time as an adult and loved, but there are also plenty that have not panned out for me. But this is interesting, and I'm enjoying myself. First of all, the prose is lovely, very whimsical. I mean, we're following the last unicorn who is on a journey trying to see if she truly is the last or if there are other unicorns out there somewhere. She doesn't necessarily, I mean, in the beginning it says that she doesn't actually need companionship from other unicorns. She just knowing that there are more out there is enough companionship for her. But she goes on this journey anyway and meets a lot of interesting creatures and people along the way. I'm about half done with it, and it's just very intriguing. As I said, the prose is very whimsical. It's very magical itself, which lends to this strange story. We also have a companion that's a wizard, and we meet really interesting beings along the way. Our unicorn is captured. Our unicorn is turned into a human at one point, which I don't think is a spoiler. I'm not sure what's on the back of the book because I'm listening to the audiobook. But some interesting things have happened as far as loss of identity and fear of aging, or the reality that aging happens. And in a children's story, a focus or an emphasis on aging comes and like we grow older. That seems reasonable. But there's also somehow an interesting focus on and we wither away. But there's also a character, probably the most interesting character of the book so far, that has everything. He has earthly pleasures galore, anything he could ever ask for, to include a magician that can manufacture miracles. He can just ask for a miracle and there it be, and he's bored out of his mind. He's just like, I'm so tired of having everything. Anything he wants is there for him, and he loses interest in it all. So it's looking at losing self and losing what you've always valued and cherished, but then it also looks at having an abundance to an extreme amount and how unsatisfying that is as well. So I'm just curious to see how all of this wraps up and to see where the story takes everything. It has been really charming and confusing and odd. And I have enjoyed it, I think, so far. So that's what I'm reading right now. I will probably finish it today. It's a very quick and easy read. So I will check in with you either today or tomorrow to let you know what I thought about it. So I finished the last unicorn, and I have so many thoughts about this book. It feels so fairy tale-esque. That's what I was looking for before when I mentioned to you that I love the prose, that it felt very magical. It felt like I was reading a fairy tale. You have the unicorn, but you also have other magical creatures. You have a wizard, a prince that goes on quests. We have the element of immortality as well as of dreams and prophecies. There's poems and songs that are recited throughout the book, riddles, and just that overall feeling of anything could happen around the corner at any given point, and we just have to roll with it. Like, it's a little bit chaotic, but also satirical and whimsical and funny. It deals with trickery and illusions, what we see and what we want to be seeing, identity and dreams and chasing those dreams, and self-discovery, recognizing that life isn't always easy and that life will come with hardships. Life will have blockades and sadness and sickness and death. All of these things will come up, and it's not about being perfect or finding the perfect path or the perfect life, but it's actually about the choices that we make in the face of our hardships, as well as who we choose to be when we're walking on our own unique path. Each of these characters have their own trials and their own hurdles and their own flaws that they have to confront in the series, and through those trials and flaws, we, the reader, are also called to consider and reflect as well. It's a story that's full of absurdity and satirical humor, but it's also very melancholy in tone, and the ending is both thrilling and very bittersweet. It's not 5 stars for me, but it's one of those books where if anyone were to tell me this is my favorite book or this is a 5-star book, I would say, yep, totally makes sense. It's not a new favorite, but it is a book that I very much enjoyed reading and discussing. I didn't grow up with this story at all, but as an adult, I think it still has plenty of things to dig into and to discuss. It's funny. I was reading, there was an interview where the author says that he, much like Tolkien, hates allegory. And the rationale I actually fully agree with, the rationale being if the author has intended allegory in the story, then readers discussing the story are forced to consider the allegory in their own interpretations. And both this author, whose name I've forgotten, and Tolkien, I should look up his name, Peter S. Beagle, both Beagle and Tolkien don't like having their own metaphors and similes and allegories. It's just a story. That's all it is. It's a story, and the readers can do what they want with it, and there's no forced meaning or forced thematic parallel or interpretation. Readers can speculate and interpret however they want. So I fully agree with that personally, but it is funny because this book feels riddled with allegories to the point that it's like, how do you not like allegories? It seems like you have very clear messaging throughout this entire book. Anyway, I did enjoy it. I missed the boat probably of when you would read it and call it an absolute favorite, but I did enjoy it quite a bit. Sorry there are no interludes this week. We had family visiting and I didn't want to get out my camera while I was hanging out with people who, like, I didn't want to ask them, hey, would you like to be on camera? I just wanted it to be family time. So no interludes this week. I'll try to get you some good ones next week. Hopefully we'll go on an adventure or two. I also didn't mean to read 4 books this week, but they were all books that can be read in a day. I read Hitchhikers, I think, in 2 days, and then I read Restaurant at the End of the Universe in 1 day, and then I read The Cat Who Taught Zen in 1 day, and then The Last Unicorn, The Last Unicorn was 2 days. It was an audiobook. So I just happened to pick up books at the end and beginning of the year that were super quick. Didn't mean to, but it's what ended up happening. I hope you had a really good end to the year last year and start of the new year. This tree's coming down probably today. I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on this channel, Mondays and Fridays on the manga channel, which is always linked in the description. I'll see you again soon. Bye.